based on what happens on the floor, has not, in my opinion, made any sexual remarks to any of the female senators. And I don't think that any of the female senators have also complained about sexual harassment against him or anybody. We joke a lot in the Senate. I must let you know that. The Senate is not, I don't know how to say it, but the Senate is a place where we all converge to discuss about the matters that affect the country, one. Two, after a while, having, sit in the Senate for 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 1 year, you understand that there will be familiarity of some sort where we even call each other by first name. I remember when we first got to the Senate, we addressed each other by Mr. or Miss and so on and so forth. But now we call each other by first name because we see each other every day in the chambers, we sit close to each other, and we also confer with one another. And so if the familiarity is what it is that is considered some sort of harassment, I don't know. But for me, I do not think that that the conduct of the Senate President on the floor is such that is against the female in the chambers. I do not think so. We have 4 female senators in this state.
I mean, it is I think it is their territory, where out of 109 senators, you have 4 of them who are female, the rest are male. So there's always going to be this testosterone or what have you that is going to be running and running high because they are men. Sexual harassment in the civil service, sexual harassment within that space of National Assembly is actually not new. Because some of them actually see it as their rights. Those who claim to be lawmakers there. It's our rights now. I mean, women throw themselves at us. Do you know how many women, fine women that are looking to talk to me? Do you know how many of them that are trying to see me? I'm just showing interest in you. Instead of you to be grateful. You are doing strong good. Look at this one. Look at this one. Take the key to my hotel. I'll be at the Sheraton Hotel this evening. Presidential suits. 3rd floor. You're doing strong girl, Dabi. Do you know how many women who are begging to come and sleep with me? Do you know how many of them? It is a men's world, they will say. Even others will say, no, it's a woman's world, though. But when you go into that space, misogynistic, narcissistic animals are there, housed. And they are the people I call the overfed pigs. So the committee put together by Akpabiole, the guy in charge, had this to say, also for the record. Remember, the guy in charge of Akpabiole's committee to probe Natasha.
For the 10th Senate, or the 10th Assembly of the Federal Republic, National Assembly of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Like Mr. Chairman has stated, I, as the debate maker of the Senate, was seriously grieved and quite discomfited with the state of the odious reputation that the Senate is degenerating into, and the public opprobrium that is being generated by the behavior of one of us. And plenary on February 20, 2025. And as the debate maker of the Senate, I started receiving a lot of calls, both locally, nationally, and internationally. And even exponentially from even members of my own family, that what is happening in the Senate. It became quite very difficult for me to even address the deluge of those demands that I have to talk and tell the public what really happened. And on that said day, February 28th, Thursday, 2025, I decided in the plenary chamber of that day, that was almost a breakdown of law and order in the chamber. That there was almost a kind of legislative topsy-turvy. Because one of us, Senator Natasha, was vehemently opposing the directive that has been changed to somewhere else within the chambers. And she was duly informed by the sergeant at her that she did not go to that assigned seat. And when we go by our orders, because like I said, on the floor of the Senate, when I was moving the Senate motion, that we have our standing orders, which are our rules, our statutes. It's our internal constitution. Because we are empowered by the various sections of the constitution, that is the National Assembly, to make our own rules that will guide us. Since we are not barbarians, since it is not an animal farm. And even in an animal farm, there is a modicum of decency and decorum. The standing orders clearly stated how, where, when, why.
Try to see if I can manage the time. We are not going to take calls tonight. I still have this long list of gists I want to share with us, so that I can clear my stable, kind of clear my stable, and then, free my own desk in order for us to have other stuff coming. So we will take calls tonight, but let's just enjoy the full 3 hours to the fullest, right? Oh, that's their spokesperson for their Senate. And like you can hear, it's a foregone conclusion. It is believed that Natasha is guilty for accusing Akpabiole of sexual harassment. Everyone who is speaking up in support of Akpabiole. Don't forget that. On the other side, the guy went on to Sheun's studio. Again, they have been sending people to the TV, radio, everywhere to go and we must make sure that you know what I mean, like we must silence her, we must use every, expectedly though, expectedly. So the Senate spokesperson then went onto the TV to add to what he said in their Senate complex. Listen to this. I don't know. That's a different one. Oh, how did I mix them together that bad? Okay, give me a sec. I'm going to try and put that up in a minute. All right. Like I said, I've got so many stuff to share with us this evening. So here is that clown on channels. Okay. So where he went on to further kind of make a mystery of the Natasha's allegation. So again, like I said, prior, I said in a working system, both Natasha and Akpabiole, both of them, right, would be investigated. So if Akpabiole never sexually harassed Natasha, the committee that supposed to be neutral, all right, will come back and say, no, that never happened. If Akpabiole never abused his power, his office, again, the committee will come back and say, oh yeah, we've done our investigation, that never happened. And similarly, if they approach this neutrally, like you get, so there's a chance where they would find out indeed that the Randy Akpabiole shouldn't even be their Senate president. He should be in jail. They can find that out as well. And then they can mete out any kind of punishment that they feel is suitable for either of them that is found wanting. But no, that is not going to happen. Because it is Nigeria. They reward bad behavior. They reward criminals. It's just their second nature, maybe first nature, though. Listen to this clown.
Just for a moment, sir.
No, there's no
just for a moment, Senator. Just for a moment, sir. Just for a moment, sir.
No, let me tell you.
Just for a moment, sir. Just let me ask. Let me ask you a question.
Ask.
Your institution, the Senate, is an institution of record.
Yes.
Anything that you do, goes into record, and it's officially taken.
Yes.
Does it mean that perhaps there need to be a rethinking of the procedure in the Senate, such that if it's a verbal communication to change the sitting of lawmakers?
Ogashin, let me tell you something. This Fourth Republic started 1999, and there had been a Senate, and that they had always been a practice, which is reflected in our orders. That is standing rules in our orders. Now, it is not 26 years after, when Senator Natasha came on board, that those orders will be rubbished and changed because of her. And now, let me now go to what really happened. You know, when a seat is changed, the sergeant at arms is notified by the presiding officer. And once the sergeant at arms is notified, the sergeant at arms will communicate by calling that senator. And then our own sister senator came almost 30 minutes before the plenary of that day, and she saw. And she had already been informed. That's why she came earlier. She had never been coming as early as that. She came earlier, and she was again informed. And when she got there were about 4 senators whose seats were changed. And she flung that inscription of her name. She removed it, flung it off, and then started reading causes and abuses, even before the plenary. So she was already waiting for that plenary, and then she did not even move to the seat that was allocated to her. She sat on the previous seat. The person that was supposed to sit there could not even find a seat to sit. And then she raised a point of order. And then the chief whip, who is supposed to maintain decorum, now raised up his hand that the senator is not properly seated. And until you are properly seated, according to Order 6.2, Order 6B of our standing rules, that you cannot make contribution. Either it is on privileges, it is on rights, or it is on anything. You cannot make any contribution. So she was prevented from making contribution. And then when you are prevented from making contribution, you were still shouting. She was still shouting. It was the prerogative. It is there in our order that the presiding officer can order you out. But instead of the presiding officer ordering her out, other senators prevailed over the presiding officer, that's the Senate president, that he should not do that. So she was given the opportunity to even sit down.
She's guilty. She is guilty of insubordination. She disrespected Akpabiole, the Senate president. And that is the issue. It is not the issue of sexual harassment. It is not the issue of, preventing her from speaking. It is not the issue of, the real issue is that she disrespected the Senate president, and that is punishable by our rules. That's what that mofo is saying, okay? And he may be right. 2 rights can coexist. I've learned that 2 rights can coexist. She could be sexually harassed, assaulted, and then at the same time, on the second hand, she also out of insubordination, disrespected a man that disrespected himself by trying to force himself on another senator. Sure, you get that thing, right? So these two truths can actually coexist. It just depends on which side of the aisle you are. What side of the aisle are you? The one that just follow the public opinion and just sway by, it sways you to the left now, it sways you to the right. Meanwhile, if this had happened in a more kind of like organized society, right? This leadership, number one, you wouldn't even like disrespect yourself enough to make a fellow colleague or lawmaker or MP or senator or congressman or woman to accuse you of sexually harassing them. But if they should petition that, by now, police will be questioning this Senate president. You don't understand. Police, yeah. They may have other privileges where they do not have to. Police may be the last resort, sure you get. But the police would be asking questions right now. And Akpabiole would probably have stepped down. But no, he's not stepping down. And Natasha's supposed to go beg. I mean, you know that the National Assembly of Nigeria is not just about APC, yeah? There are other political parties in this Nigeria's National Assembly. Political parties like Labour Party, PDP, APUGA, NNPP, and others like that. So one of them, because like I said, they may all claim to be coming from different political parties, right? In this contraption, right, they all have the same party, the same religion, the same tribe, and what have you. They all have same in common. And having everything in common means esprit de corps. Esprit de corps means the spirit that we are brothers. So one of them, what is this guy's name again? He was the chairman of APUGA. Then he joined the Labour Party, I think. Then he became a senator again. He said he quietly advised Natasha to go and apologize to Akpabiole, by the way.
That came on the media through the interview you are referring to, the allegations are allegations that one would not expect to come from somebody who is a senator. The Senate is not a small institution. It's a very big institution, the highest parliament in this country. It's not a House of Assembly, and it's not perhaps the House of Representatives. It's the Senate. And the people who are in the Senate are expected to conduct themselves with the highest decorum possible. So you would imagine how scandalized any senator would be to watch on television, see a senator make those allegations against the presiding officer, the Senate president. It's not something anybody can wish away and sweep under the carpet. One is that for you to be able to sustain such an allegation in a brazen manner on television, what you are saying must be impeccable. It must be justifiable. And even if it is justifiable, there are rules and procedures of addressing anything. Running to the television and begin to throw such allegations, myself, I take a great exception to that. I've listened to the interview about 3 times to be able to see if I can make anything out of it. And just like previous senators have spoken on the matter, including former female senators and a serving senator that is a female, I've listened to Senator Ireti Kingibe, who is the Chairman Senate Committee on Women Affairs. I saw her on Rice Television making her own points. I've also seen Senator Biodo Olujimi, former minority leader of the Senate, herself a woman. I also saw her position. Yesterday, I also saw Senator Florence Etagewa, a female senator of this republic, sometime in the past, and she also came out with her own position. Looking at this, I just referred to 3 women who, 2 have been senators here, and 1 is still serving. you will see that one will not be accused of trying to jump in to take side with the Senate president because he's a man. I think the whole thing is very nauseating because something that started with a very simple, as it appeared, misunderstanding over allocation of seats has snowballed into a wildfire, which was unnecessary. When the first issue came up, that was the issue of seating arrangement. I wasn't in the chamber, I was in Lagos on assignment on behalf of the Senate, and I saw